Hey guys, David here and welcome to this video. 3D printers are great. You can print a whole bunch of stuff and there are millions of models already available on platforms like Thingiverse and many others. But just printing models that other people made kinda gets old after a while. So you do wanna create your own 3D models, but which software should you use? So in this video, I'm gonna compare some of the most popular options that are really well suited for 3D printing and that are also all conveniently free, at least in the version that we're gonna use them. Now, the loyal followers of this channel might think they're having deja vu, but it's not you. I actually have made similar videos like this one before, but the last one is over 2 years ago, and even me just watching that video, I get super cringed out and it really is not that great. So I'm gonna try to make this video a lot better, and I'll also put in some other programs that I haven't previously mentioned that might have come up newer or that other programs have been updated since I made the video. So I think it is very well warranted to have another video. I also want to give a big thanks to Endurance Lasers for sponsoring this video. They offer a wide variety of lasers that you can attach to your 3D printer or CNC router machine or whatever you already have and easily convert them into a CNC laser, engraver and even cutter. They have a whole range of different power outputs depending on what you need, and since the lasers are all diode based, they're super easy to set up and control. So if you want to learn more about Endurance Lasers, make sure to check out the link in the description. So now, since it's not much use just talking about the programs, we're actually going to go over to the computer and I'm going to show you with a screen capture what these programs are like and what their pros and cons are. So here we are inside of our first contester. It's Tinkercad. I've previously already featured it and it still is by far just the easiest CAD program to learn. All you gotta do is find the shape you want here on the side. Let's say we want something that is somewhat rectangular. Then we can just start off with the box, drag it here into the scene and resize it to the size that we need it. Let's say we need a little bit bigger, but not as tall, only 4 millimeters thick. And then what we need is a cylindrical hole in here. Then either we can already take the hole here or we can even start off with a cylinder, put it here and we don't want a solid cylinder, we actually want it to be a hole, so we use the hole here, resize it to the size we want, and here we then already have a hole inside of this plate. Now you also have even more shapes. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that is available. If you want to add maybe some character, we want to add this astrobot into here, add a second one, or we didn't want a second one, let's just delete it. And it's just super easy to get around, and once you save it and export it, it's already ready to print since it's all saved in STL files. So if you just want to get something very simple done, or you maybe want your kids to get into 3D modeling, then you really can't go wrong with Tinkercad. But if you want just a bit more granular control than in Tinkercad and a bit more features maybe, then let's move on to the second program that I'm gonna show you. Here we are inside of SketchUp, and it actually used to be a desktop program, but now SketchUp is also available inside of your browser, which just makes it even more easy and you don't have to install anything. Now there is a pro version of SketchUp that does cost some money, but for just simple projects the free version is more than enough. Here on the left we have our tool panel where we can choose what we want to do. Let's start off with a rectangular sketch here. Let's do it on the bottom here. This gives us our sketch, and then we could add even more detail to it, but let's just take this sketch and extrude it, give it some height. Let's say right about here, and then we maybe want to add some holes into it. Just like before, we can just create another sketch here with all the holes that we want, and then we can use this tool again, and maybe this is actually not what I wanted to do, but we can then just simply like that create a hole into our part here. And if you want more than that, you can of course, there are more features available. You can also use this other sidebar here, where you can do things like change the color of it. Let's say here we take the gray paint bucket and then we can paint it gray. There's also a whole like components warehouse. Well, let's say we want to add some bolts to this. We can just search for bolt here, and then it gives us a whole list of different things. There are actually 2,400 pages just for bolts, so you might want to specify it a bit more. But let's say we want this one, we just download it real quick and add it in here, and we already have the bolts inside of the model now. Now it's of course way too big, but we can easily fix that by scaling it up. So as you can see, it is super easy to get started here in SketchUp, and you can also get into a lot more complicated things, as you do have a bit more features than inside of Tinkercad, where it's just limited to the basic shapes. Here you can create basically anything. There's arcs and whatnot, and all the different features that you could want. You can, however, notice that a lot of the features inside of SketchUp are more targeted towards architectural design, since that is what SketchUp was originally designed to do. So let's take a look at a different program that is really designed to create parts and more mechanical designs. Here we have OnShape. Now OnShape is really quite popular, and they have gone through a couple of different acquisitions, but it still is the same program. Now there is a slight caveat. While as a hobbyist you get all the features of OnShape completely for free, you are required to automatically share all your designs as open source. Now, for some of you that might not be a big deal. If you just want to design a new knob for the kitchen cabinet, you really probably don't care if the design is open source or not. But if you want to use the CAD programs to maybe create some designs for your business or something, then maybe all your designs automatically being shared onto an open source license is not the best thing. And once you want to buy OnShape, it is actually kind of expensive. So I'm just gonna quickly go over it. It works quite a bit different than the previous ones, as it is fully parametric. And if you have never heard of parametric design, then let me just quickly show you that here on the side you basically have your timeline. All the different things that were done are available here. First, we started out with this simple sketch that we created, and then we extruded it. And then we went on to a different sketch, which we also extruded to create this other shape here. And then with some more sketches we created these holes and these fillets, and all these are separate steps. But what the really cool thing is now that we don't just see all the things here, but we can actually go into, let's say, this fillet, and maybe it was kind of too big, so let's decrease it to 5 millimeters. And click the green button and it all dynamically updates. So no matter how much more things you've added to it, you can go even as far back as your very first sketch, go in here and maybe let's say this dimension actually should have been 62, so you change it to 62 and it all dynamically updates. And this is really just extremely powerful and can save you hours upon hours of time just redoing steps because you needed to change some dimensions, or there is just something else that you forgot or have to change. There also are just a plethora of different things that you can do. You can of course add chamfers, do extrudes, you can add ribs to support. You can also work with sheet metal and make joints and all of that good stuff. So it really is a very professional program that you could easily design a machine inside of this program and go on to manufacturing it. But still, it is just kind of limited in its free version. So I'm gonna show you a different program that I actually use all the time. It's my main program, and that is Fusion 360. It has a lot of similarities to OnShape, as it is also fully parametric, but it is not browser-based, it's actually downloaded. And it also is free, but it actually is free for hobbyists and also even startups. As long as you make, I think, below 100,000 a year, you can get a free hobbyist license for this program. Now they do change it all the time, how exactly you have to go about it, but I believe last I checked you had to download the free trial and then somewhere up here click something and find the small button that gives you access to the hobbyist license. But don't worry guys, it's not gone, even though it might not be featured as prominently anymore on their website. So here's just a simple part that I actually used very recently. It's a little part that I 3D printed that I used to transfer some balls screw nuts, and here we have the timeline here in the bottom. So I started off with just a simple cylinder and then added some threads to it, and then later I rounded over some of the parts here and then added the holes into it. And here I can once again could easily here go have all the bodies here, and if I had sketches I could also easily edit those. And I just wanted to quickly show you what happens if you have a bit of a more complicated project. Here is my CNC conversion project, and as you can see this is quite a complex program. I have a whole bunch of different bodies here. I also have like animated hinges here. I can move all the stuff around here, and it's just really powerful, and it is actually kind of easy to get started. You do have to watch a couple tutorials, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad. And even here I could go back into every single step and just change the little settings and modify the design however I choose. Taking just a quick look over here, we of course have all the functions that you want: extrude, revolve, sweeps, lofts, creating ribs. You can also then of course modify them in every way that you wanted. And here we also have different workspaces. The design workspace is where you do your 3D modeling, but you can also render your things. You can create animations like those beautiful exploding shots of your machine or whatever is all possible within here. You can even do simulations where you like find out where the stress points are and like how much strength you need to add, stuff like that. And then in the end you can just simply export it to your 3D printer, and you can even send it directly to Cura and other 3D printing software. Or if you want to manufacture your design some other way, you can easily create drawings, and even these drawings update dynamically. If I change some dimensions inside of the design of this that affect this drawing, then this drawing will also be updated. That's just the power of parametric design for you. But while Fusion 360 is a dedicated program on your computer, all the data is still saved in the cloud. And I know that some of you might have an issue with that. Also, you aren't guaranteed to always have free access to it. The free hobbyist licenses always renew for 1 year only, so you never know if maybe next year you can't get a free license anymore and you can't really access your designs anymore. If you are worried about that, then the answer to your worries is FreeCAD. It's basically the open source CAD that can do everything. There are a million different workspaces in here, from just simple modeling to 2D sketches. You can do spreadsheets with complicated design changes in it. You can even create toolpaths for CNC milling or within this program. Now, it is quite a handful to learn, and it does have some particular ways that it needs to be used, which may be a bit higher of a learning curve than the previously mentioned programs, but once you get a hang of it, it's a really great program. And yet again, here we have the design history here, basically, where we can just go into the sketch for this pocket here. We can extend this, let's say we want to make this pocket longer here, update, and close, and as you can see, the pocket is now longer and the design is dynamically updated. In regards to time, I won't go into too much more detail on the particular ways that you can use it. In the feature set, it basically is very similar to Fusion 360 and actually does have some workspaces that are different programs when you go with Autodesk. These were the main programs that I wanted to feature, but I also have some kind of more honorable mentions. For example, if we go back to browser-based programs, we have SelfCAD here. Now, The free definition is kind of sketchy here, since while you can create all the models for free, if you actually want to download the model in STL or something, you do have to pay their monthly subscription, which is like $15 a month. It's not that expensive actually for 3D modeling programs, but the other reason why I wanted to feature this program is while it is a very powerful program and has a lot of features, it is not parametric. And that's not a bad thing, it's just a very different way of working. Here, instead of creating sketches and then basing all your designs on that, you can easily deform these. You can twist all of these designs, and you can also directly edit the individual points. I could easily just move this individual point here. I can select this individual point and then move it around and modify my design in this way. There also is a sculpting workspace where I can actually use sculpting brushes to modify my design. I have to maybe choose one that actually makes sense here. And as you can see, I'm like smoothing over this corner, and this way you can actually really create some organic looking models, which is really hard with the previously mentioned programs. They all basically allow you to create geometric designs very easily, but as soon as you want something that is organic, that has curves and maybe three-dimensional smooth surfaces, and it really just gets hard. You couldn't design a mannequin that it has some really organic looking features inside of Fusion 360. Well, there is always a way, but it would be a lot harder than inside a program like SelfCAD here. And the last honorable mention that I want to give is OpenSCAD. It is once again extremely different on all the programs mentioned, as in that you don't move anything in the graphical user interface. It's all code-based. Basically, if you want a cube, you just write a cube and then the parameters, the size, where you want it positioned, and that way you can also create designs that are very, very parametric. It is just a very different way of working, and probably not the fastest, unless you have some very specific use cases where this is the ideal program. So I hope you found a program in the list that I just showed you that fits what you want to do. And if you have other programs that you love and I haven't mentioned, since I can not mention all of them, there are way too many out there, make sure to leave them down in the comments so that other people reading the comments have the possibility to find even more options if they didn't find something in this list. So make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and also share this video to all the people that you think might be interested in this topic. You can't always rely on the YouTube algorithm to serve the video to the people that are actually interested in the topic. So by you sharing the video, you help me out a great deal, and hopefully also the other people that can see the video. So thanks for watching, and until next time.